Happy Monday, everybody. So glad to see you guys on here, see your beautiful faces. Okay, tonight we are talking about authentic outreach. And what I'm going to do is kind of trickle down some of the really important and amazing things that we've been learning from the Love, Serve, Grow training that a few of us are doing. So that would be Shannon and Alicia, Victoria, and myself. We're all doing the same thing. So I have asked them to just unmute and jump in at any point, because what we want to do is take all of this. It's been incredible, all of this amazing training, and make sure you guys learn from it as well, right? Because that's how it will really, really make an impact, is if we're all learning together. So just a disclaimer, everything I'm about to teach you comes from Bob Heilig, okay? I don't want to say like Bob said, so I'm just going to say it like I said it, except you need to know it's actually Bob, okay? So all of this is Bob Heilig. And what was really awesome is I had a one-on-one coaching call with one of his trained coaches who works with him. And I was asking her, I was like, listen, I want to share all this with my team, but I want to respect any like copywriting and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, no, we want you to teach this to your teams. And I was like, okay, sweet. That's great news. And she's like, yeah, this is for your team. This is to grow your team. Like all the scripts, everything, you need to share it with your team. So that was awesome. And I just felt like I had permission to just, okay, like share all the things. So even some of the scripting and things I am able to share with you guys. And I'm just excited for it. So we're just a couple weeks into this, but the first topic that's really covered in that Love, Serve, Grow Academy is authentic outreach. And that's so important because as we think about what we do with Plexus, our work is to really bring new customers in and then retain them by helping them have a great experience, and then duplicate what we're doing to our teams, right? Like that's really all there is. There's not anything else that we're doing. We can complicate it, we can make it really busy and all kinds of things, but really what we do is very simple. And it's very conversational, right? Like we are having conversations all of the time. And so when we can get better at those conversations, we will see better results in our business, right? It just makes sense. So authentic outreach focuses on conversations. And it matters because when we improve those conversations, we will have more sales and more recruits, more people joining us, right? We'll be more hopeful and more empowered, and it's more fun. It's more fun, and we feel more satisfied in the conversations that we're having. We don't feel like we're spamming people when we're talking authentically. We don't feel awkward. We don't feel like we're just trying to make a sale. We really want to be authentic in the way that we're having conversations with people. So there's 3 factors to consider with authentic outreach. The first is that it's honest and direct. Okay, so sometimes we get stuck in this like relationship building mode where we're just like kind of going around and around with people, and we're not just being direct and telling them why we're reaching out to them, right? So number 1 is just to be clear and honest and direct with people. People really appreciate when we just treat them like adults and are honest. Number 2, it leads with problem solving. And this is where we're going to have most of our conversation tonight, leading with problem solving, not with products. Okay, sometimes we jump right to products before we've even figured out what the problem for that person is. And then number 3, it helps you audition prospects. Yes, we are auditioning prospects to see if they are a good fit to work with us. That is a mindset shift, right? Sometimes we feel like we're trying to sell ourselves, right? Like, please pick me, like buy from me. No, you are auditioning your prospect to see if they're a good fit for what we have, for our community, or for our business. So a couple things that I have been noticing, both as I'm looking back at my own messaging and way I'm talking to people, and also with our team, is that we are very focused on providing solutions because what we have to offer is great, right? We know the products are amazing, and every single one of us has felt that transformation. So we're like, I have something for you, right? I have a solution, but we're jumping to solutions without identifying people's problems. Or maybe we think we know their problem, but we never really had a meaningful conversation where they could tell us about them, right? Where they could see their own problem and say like, yes, this is what I'm dealing with. And then we can figure out if what we have is a good fit for them. So a good example is right now we've got this like Valentine's deal going on, right? Like I made that graphic, share the love, and we've got a great discount, $20 off and $1 membership. Like that's incredible. So we know the value of that, right? Because we love the products. So what's tempting is to just like post that or put it in your stories or just send it straight to someone and be like, I have a thing for you. Like I have a solution for you, but we don't know what their problem is yet, right? So that's not a bad thought. It's a good thing that we want to share, but we need to lead with solving problems first. If we offer a solution before the problem is identified, then there's no value in that offer, right? So how many of you guys have struggled with like price objections or someone saying like it's too expensive, or even as you're messaging, you have that feeling like, oh, it's probably too expensive for this person, right? We've all felt that way. That it means that we have not established the value, right? It's not that the product is expensive. There are people selling way more expensive things, and you all know people are spending money on their health. It's that we have to establish the value in order for the cost to not be a thing. When someone realizes that what we have is exactly what they need and it solves the problems that they have, then like the cost really does not become an issue. Okay, so how do we do this? Yes, Victoria, the Target example is so we can all relate, right? Like just pop in Target and drop in $100, $150. Yes, it's all about perception of value. If people really believe this solves a problem for them, they will be on board. So how do we do this? How do we have transformational conversations instead of transactional conversations, right? So if your conversation is, I think you need this, let me send you product info. Let me like blast you with all this information before we've even had a meaningful conversation. That's very transactional, right? What we want to do instead is transformational. What we have and what we offer can transform someone's life. That's how we should be leading, with the problems that it can solve. Okay, so we focus on being clear and honest. We lead with problem solving, not the products. And this is the same for business conversations, which we will go over on a future training. But for right now, let's just focus on products, okay? And I love how Bob explained this. He said, you're a paid problem finder, okay? You're looking for problems. Even as we post and share on social media, you want to speak to people's problems, right? You can't just jump in with, here's all the gut health information, or here's all the amazing things that Reset does. All of that's good, but if people don't know that they have a problem and that's a solution for them, it doesn't have any value, right? So even with your posting, lead with the problem. I forget who it was, but someone, I don't know if it was in person or on a coaching call, she said that she just talks to people in person and says like, oh, can you poop? Can you sleep? Like those are things that are relatable. So many people have a problem pooping or sleeping, can't poop, can't sleep, can't lose weight. Like we should chat. And that's how she starts conversations with strangers. Like, yeah, you're leading with the problem. People can't poop. That's a problem. And you have something that can help with that. So I love that. It doesn't need to be super complicated, but we do need to establish the need. Not everyone realizes that they need Plexus, or maybe they don't. Maybe their gut health is in fabulous shape. Like not everyone that you're talking to is necessarily a fit for what you have, right? Or maybe you're talking about the business and they really genuinely are not interested and they don't want to do this. That's fine. Like you are trying to determine fit. So in every conversation, there's two goals. One is there a need for what you're offering? And number two is determine fit. Determine if this is a good fit for them, if the business is a good fit for them, if that's what you're going for, or if the products are a good fit for them. Sometimes the answer to that is going to be no, they don't have a need, and that's okay. They're not your person right now, or it's not a good fit, and that's okay too. Okay, so what, first I'll just pause. Do you guys want to add anything in? Shan, Victoria, Alicia, any other? Oh yeah, Shan, share the rotten apple analogy. That was good.
So I'm probably going to butcher this, but basically he just said like, there are red apples, the people that are like ready, want to do this, like they know that they have this issue, they know that what you have will help them, they're ready to go. They're red apples, like we all want the red apples. Then there's the green apples that we know that they need it, but they don't know that they need it yet. So they're the kind of people we're going to have longer conversations with, and eventually, hopefully they'll buy from us because they need it. And then there's the rotten apples that we don't want on our team. That's the person that's going to drag us down. That's the person that probably needs this, but wants to be difficult, and just all of the things of somebody that you do not want to deal with on a daily basis. That is a rotten apple, and you're never going to make it a red apple. And I just thought that was such a great like analogy, because I like thinking back, like over my 6-year journey, there have been conversations with people and I'm like, why was I even talking to that person? I know that sounds horrible. And the way he said it was very like straight to the point, like, no, it's fine. Like not everybody is for us and not everybody is for Plexus or our team. Like Brittany was saying, like you're never going to make a rotten apple a red one. So just
And
move
yeah,
on. He was like, take that rotten apple and toss it out the window.
right, because it will spoil the bunch,
Yes.
right? So if you keep a rotten apple in with the mix, like it's going to spoil the whole thing. So like you chuck that sucker, like you can still love people and like minister to them and pray for them, but you don't need to work with everyone, right? You get to choose who you work with. Like you're auditioning your clients and your business partners. Alicia, Victoria, anything else you guys wanted to add? You don't have to. I'm just opening it up. No, we're good. Okay. All right. So I am going to share my screen and show you guys. So what I've loved about the training is there's like coaching for a little bit, like 20 or 30 minutes, and then like tasks, like homework. And so I want to share this with you because if this is like, okay, it's resonating with you, you can do this homework too. And it was really, really eye-opening. And it's something that I'm going to continue to do. It's not a one-time thing. So he had us break out into 3 categories of people. And I just chose to do this on an Excel spreadsheet, but you could easily just grab a piece of notebook paper. And it's called your hot leads list. And another thing I really loved is he talks about instead of trying to be viral, just be valuable, right? Like on your social media, stop chasing being viral and just add value to people, right? And so you do not need a huge following. You just need a hot following, what he calls a hot following. That means that if you have 500 people who are following you, that's great. If they are engaged and loving your content and you're interacting with them, like you could grow a diamond team from a very, very small social media following or even a very small circle. So it's not that we need tons and tons of people. We're just looking for those red apples and those green apples. So he had us create a hot leads list. And this was broken into 3 categories. It is your current customers. So this is people who have bought from you within the past 3 months. Okay, current customers. The second category is past customers. So people that have purchased from you at one time, but not within the past 3 months. He considers that a past customer. And the third category is your social media leads. This would be people that have commented, liked, loved a post. And I just went ahead and added in other prospects that I have, like in person, you know, homeschool mom friends that I've talked to about Plexus, just all of my leads are prospects. So current customers, past customers, and leads. So let me share my screen so I can give you an example of what this looks like. Okay, I have a lot of tabs open. I apologize, but okay, so this is an example of my current customer. So I just made like a mocked up list here. These aren't real people, but I literally put a list, like a whole spreadsheet of every single customer that I have, which is a lot. So if you've been working your business for a long time, this is going to take you a minute to fill out this list. If you're new, start doing this right now. You guys, if you are new, please start doing this right now. This would have been so helpful had I been doing this for the past 6 years and been working off this list. So name of your customer here, and then to the best of your ability, you fill this out. What products are they on? Okay, what products did they purchase or are they on? You may not be able to fill out the rest yet, and that's okay. But what we're going to figure out by working through our list is what problems did they have that caused them to buy from you? So what were they looking for when they started Plexus? You may not know this for your current customers. As I was working through my list, there were some that I knew right away, like, oh, she had burning mouth syndrome. I remember it. She needed to fix her gut. There's other people that I'm like, I don't really remember why they bought, or I don't really know, or maybe I didn't really ask them. So we want to find out why people bought from you. Then why you? Why did they particularly pick you to work with? And then we're going to find out if they've had any results or success so far. So this is with your current customers. And then similarly, the same sheet for your past customers. And I want to show you, hold on, I hate how Zoom does this. Okay, so I just made, and I was trying not to like give all my customer information here, but I just made a tab for each one. So my current customers, my past customers, and then as you contact them and work through them, I'll go back to the sample. I'm just putting an X in the box, right? So I'm just working through like messaging 1 or 2 customers a day. And Bob provided a script to get these answers, to have meaningful, authentic conversations and figure out why they bought from you, what problems they had, and if they've had any success so far. And what's great is if they have had success, you can use them as a success story. Like there's people that you're working with that are feeling awesome and having results, and we don't really know yet. Okay, so we're going to find that out. And then your leads, this is a great place to just put in all of your social media, like people that have commented, what type of post was it that they commented on? And then did you contact them? Did you follow up? And so I just started doing this. But what I want to show you is the scripts from Bob. So let me find them. Okay. And he gave me permission to share this with you. So I am pumped. All right. So looking at your current customers, once you have your list made, all you're going to do is work through and ask your people these questions. So if you only have a handful of customers, you can literally do this and then keep doing this with all customers as you add them. And I can't even imagine like the impact that that would have in building a stable business. But he literally gives you the scripting here. So just, hey, do you have a few minutes? I have some questions I wanted to ask you. And basically what you're asking is I'm looking to find better ways to add value and to serve my customers. You've been a great customer of mine, and I would love to ask you a few questions. Obviously, I am tweaking that to sound more like me and to make it genuine, and depending on the person, like, inserting other things in there. But the first thing we're going for is identifying their problem. There's going to be lots of customers you have that you honestly don't know their problem, like why they bought. And so we asked this question: why did you buy the products in the first place? Was there a specific problem you had or something you were struggling with? That question right there is going to open up a great, authentic conversation for you to develop a more meaningful relationship with your customers, right? And once you know their problem, you can better serve them. You can suggest other products that would be a great fit for them. You can plug them into different accountability groups and things we have going on based on what they said. Like, this is such important information. If you do know their problem, right? So for the people that you're like, oh, I know why they bought, I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing with blank. Everyone loves getting that question. I remember what you signed up for. I remember what you were struggling with. How are you doing with that? Then you can ask, is that something that's still an issue for you today? If no, if the problem has been solved, they're a great success story for you. So you can make a note of that. I'm going to circle back and see if I can share their story as a success story, something you can put in your Instagram story or on your social media in some way. Then we're going to figure out, why did they buy from you? And this is where you need to be a little bit open to constructive feedback, okay? And not have too sensitive of feelings, because you want to know what you can do to better love and serve your customers, okay? Your current customers are 14 times more likely to purchase from you than a new prospect. So all of like the income potential in your current team is huge, is massive. And, we're always chasing new people, and that's part, like, we do want to bring in new people, but there is so much potential in just loving and serving our current customers. It's going to build a stable business for you. So the questions on why did they buy from you, it's simply asking them, what's the reason you chose to buy from me? How has the experience been so far? And where can I improve and do a better job of serving you as a customer? This will give you great insight into things you can be doing or providing, or that we can be doing as a team to love and serve your customers well, because we want to keep people. We want to have them long enough that they can have awesome success with the products. And then when people experience that, they are way more likely to be open to sharing, right? When they've had a great success so far. Okay. And then we can also ask them if they've seen any results. If yes, would you be willing to provide a testimonial for me? So again, looking for success stories. Okay, that's all for your current team. The script for past customers is very similar. Going back and asking, why did you originally purchase? Is that something that's still an issue for you today? Most of the time, yes. Like if they have stopped ordering, if they had gut health issues and they've stopped ordering, then it's probably still an issue, right? They probably have not fixed that problem. So you're going to dig a little deeper and ask, what are you doing now to try to address the problem? And would you like some help? You know how many people are going to say, you know what? I've been meaning to talk to you. I need to get back on my products. Like, this is a great opportunity to bring back past customers but you're not starting with a transaction. You're not jumping into a past customer and saying, you can rejoin, it's $20 off today. That's transactional. This is transformational. How are you doing with that thing that you had a problem with? Are you still struggling? Would you like some help? Like, do you see how different that feels? It feels totally different, right? Okay, and then the third category is comments on posts. So these are just great opening messages to start a conversation and ask good questions. Really, the authentic outreach comes down to asking good questions. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to comment on my post today. I'm curious, what are you currently doing in this area for yourself? Make it more specific based on your post. Or, hey, thanks for leaving that comment on my post. I'd love to learn more about what you shared. Open up a conversation. There's other great questions in here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically starting a conversation and then asking about their problem, right? We are paid problem solvers. So when you can identify someone's problem, and most people are very open about talking about their problems, they're grateful that you're listening, right? They're grateful that you asked. And we do want to be active listeners. We're not just thinking like, oh, I got to jump to Plexus. We go way too fast, right? We can take some time to actually find out what their problem is, what their challenge, and then just ask, would you like some help? Or could I make a recommendation on what has helped me? I have to tell you guys, I have been having the best conversations. Hold on, let me stop screen share here. I've been having the best conversations with people that feel so authentic and meaningful and not salesy at all. And when I ask them, could I share with you what I do to help with that area? Or would you like some help or some feedback on that? They almost always say yes, right? Who's going to say no? Like, no, I don't want help. They say yes. And then you can present the product recommendation, the solution you have for them, and it is perceived as that's valuable to them. Like you're providing a solution to a problem. It's not just here's a bunch of products and there was never even a need established. Okay, so as you work through those lists, the first step is to just make the list. Your current customers, your past customers, and everyone who's engaged on your posts and any other leads you have, work through them, ask questions, and then just focus on it being authentic. Alicia, raise your hand. Go ahead, Alicia. Sorry, just looked at the chat.
No, you're good. I was gonna say something that I was like, it'll fit anywhere. But he was just saying specifically around these, he's like, okay, these are going to make you feel uncomfortable at first. They're going to be like, oh, it's a script. We don't want to be scripted. But he's like, this is going to be the tool that helps you to learn the thing, like learn the steps, learn the process so it becomes second nature. And he's like, just embrace the suck. He's like, embrace that it's probably feels icky and like weird because you're not used to it. And it's just like, you have to like work that muscle to get more used to it. And so I just felt like that was really helpful because he's like often in our heads to just be like, I know it's going to be hard. Like that's kind of the point, but it's going to be like worth it in the long run to have the conversations and to ask questions. And like, I don't know, there's something in me that I'm like, I want to know what I can do because there's so often that I'm running around like a crazy person. Like if I only knew what to do, and it's literally like, well, ask them what you can do and then do that. And so I felt like that was just super, super helpful.
Yes, I love that. And he said too, like the reason there's scripts is just to get you started. Like once you start having these authentic conversations with people, you eventually won't need a script. Like you'll just know good questions to ask and know the flow of how it goes. He said, if we were like really passionate about what we're doing, we wouldn't need scripts, right? Have you ever felt that when you are like super fired up and passionate, you just know what to say? And like the person feels that energy and they buy. And you're like, what even happened? If we were always operating in that zone, we wouldn't need scripts. But the fact is, like, we're not always going to be in that like very passionate zone. So the scripts are just to help get started. I have customized them majorly. Like I did not like just copy and paste Bob's message into all my messages, but it has definitely helped me go back and reconnect with people. And I'm trying not to prejudge my list. So those of you that have big teams, if you make this list up, you're going to be like, oh, I can skip them, or, oh, that's going to be awkward. I was already doing that. And I was like, no, stop it. Do not prejudge. Just like tweak the conversation so it sounds normal and like you pick up where you left off with them, but just go back and make a connection with each person. I'll say also, if you have a massive team, working through this list might take you months or even a year, and that's okay. I personally am just going through one person from each of those categories per day. So one current customer, one past, and one prospect, and pulling up the scripts and getting myself centered and sending the message. And really like all of the conversations have been great. Yeah, Shan, go for it.
I also love that he shared, he was talking about like a situation with another person that he was working with, and how she was like, I don't know how to follow up to with this person. And he was like, well, like, why do you feel like you want to follow up with her? Like, what is the reason that you think she needs Plexus? It wasn't Plexus, but we're just going to use that for this situation, for this example. And he was like, she was like, well, I know that she's struggling with this, and Slim and Ease, I know, could really help her with her pain, inflammation, whatever it was. And he was like, so why don't you just say that? And I just thought that was like mind blowing, because sometimes we make it so complicated. We obviously want to share our products with people because we know how much they will help them with certain things that we've struggled with. Like if it's a personal, story that relates to what Plexus has helped you with, then tell the person like what your struggles were and what your life was before Plexus and why you started sharing. Like,
Mhm.
I told Brittany when I first joined, do not ask me to post on social media. I will not do it. I'm way too busy. I had all of the excuses that people give me right now. That was me. And now, like, I've been doing this for 6 years and I can't imagine not doing it. And one of the big things that I decided to share was because I didn't want another monthly bill. So a lot of times people's thing that they say like, oh, I can't join Plexus because I don't want to pay for it every month. Well, get them to start sharing. And so, yeah, I love that example that he gave too. Like, just be authentic, tell people like your story and your journey, and I'm sure that they could relate to it.
Right. Yeah. Even that simple, like if I came to Shannon and I said, Shannon, I remember you really used to struggle with back pain. Is that something that's still a problem for you today? Would you feel weird saying like, yeah, my back is, I mean, her back is better. But if she hadn't been on Plexus, she would have said, yeah, my back's awful. I'm in pain all the time. And like, we could have some conversation back and forth. And I could say, could I share something that I think might really help you? She would say, yeah, I'm having to go to the chiropractor every week. I'm calling out of work because I can't move. Like it doesn't have to take forever to be a transformational conversation. It's just leading with problem solving instead of jumping right to products, right? We have to figure out people's problems first before we jump to product recommendations.
Should I say one other thing, Britt?
Yep.
Really quick. I just want to clarify or just like highlight the fact that you said problems. Like there are multiple. It's not just like the one thing. Oh, they have a headache. Okay, jump it. Like we so often hear like that one thing and we're like, Plexus. And it's like, hold on. There might actually like headaches might be one of the things, but the real big problem that's actually holding them back or that's actually like keeping them from doing the thing that they want to do is that they don't have energy and they're stuck on the couch. The headache is maybe a byproduct of the actual issue. And so that's when like asking more questions before you get to the like actual, let me share what will help you actually serves you better because when they say, oh, maybe it wasn't that, there's like a deeper level. And I feel like that's the part that I've missed a lot is I'll just like Plexus, that will fix it. But I sometimes forget like people can't see that whole progression and like how much it could change their life until we've kind of uncovered and gotten to what is the actual thing that you like want. Maybe the first thing that they tell you isn't the actual thing. Same thing with objections. Like I feel like we get that a lot where it's like there's one objection, but it's not the actual one. You still have to like uncover. So I feel like the problems, it's kind of like a rabbit trail that you sometimes have to uncover the things.
Right.
That wasn't the best way to explain it, but
no, exactly. Yeah.
Also, like with that, a lot of times I will recommend other things, not just Plexus. So like if it's somebody who has back pain, like I was just talking to somebody today, like I tell them like I still go to the chiropractor once a month. I still get massages once a month. Here's some nutrition tips that have helped me. Here's like ingredients that you can look for to take out of your diet. And so like I think when you give people other ideas and other ways, like add value and, teach them other things other than Plexus, they're like, oh, this person really wants to help me. They're not just trying to sell me something.
Yeah, that's good. And you can share, like we can share those resources. Like I made this little gut health meal plan just to have something to set, like to give people when they want to get started in being like more mindful of what they're eating. It's like, I'd love to work with you and support you. And like, here's a 7-day, meal plan PDF. And like, yeah, just adding value, offering something to them. If you have a solution besides Plexus or in addition to Plexus, say that first, right? Like add value to that person first. No one wants to just feel like they're being sold to. And Bob says that like people can feel that transactional conversation a mile away. And that's why people ghost you. They ghost you when it feels like you're trying to sell them. So yeah, might need to circle back to some people and make sure that there's been like true connection and that you actually figured out what their problem was first. Yeah, Nicole, go.
So this makes me so happy because, since day one, I've struggled with the relationship building. Like, I'm not here to build a relationship. Yes, I care how you're doing. I care how I can help you, but I'm here to tell you about a solution to your problems. And I've always showed up that way. And I've always felt like the oddball out. Like, Victoria is amazing at relationship building. And I'm like, can you please just relationship build with my people and just tell me, when I can step in for product stuff, because, so this makes me so happy. And just to tweak a little bit of what I've been doing to make it better. Because before I would see something and say, oh, this would help them. So I would say, hey, I saw your post on X, Y, and Z. Here's a story. And I've been taking these products and they've really helped me. I think they would help you. And so just tweaking a little bit of that will definitely progress what I've been doing. So,
yeah,
but this is relieving.
Yeah, it's just a little tweak. It's just like maybe asking 1 or 2 questions before you hop in with the recommendation. So simple. And also, like, if you guys struggle with connecting with your customers, because I'm like you, Nicole, I'm like, take your products and like, I'm here if you need me, right? This is like forcing me to go back and like have some meaningful conversation, but it's still around Plexus. And it's not just like, I'm your shoulder to cry on and like, let's call and chat for 40 minutes. It's like, here's what you were struggling with. Is that still a struggle? Is there anything I can do to better support you? And most of the time they're like, no, everything's great. I really appreciate you. Great. Like we had that touch point and it's good. So yeah, I think these scripts will be really helpful for you, Nicole. So I'm going to get them out of this PDF into just like a Word document so I can share it with you guys and you'll have the flow. I feel wrong just like sending Bob's PDF and something. I know they told me it's okay, but it just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to get it out in a Word doc. Oh, Alicia, you already have them. You already typed them up. There you go. Alicia is on the ball as usual. So yeah, we can share them and you guys can start doing this. I know it might feel like a big task, like to make a list and all that stuff, but this is IPA, like this is income producing activity to have these conversations. It's going to help you with retention. If you do this with your people that have commented on your social media, that's going to help you with recruitment. It really like is all the things to drive your business forward. Okay, Shannon has one last thought and then we'll hop off.
I'm so sorry. I know we're over time, but like this training is so good. So another thing he said, which you said the word relieving, Nicole, and I'm like, when I first started watching this training, I'm like, I felt like, okay, when I purchased it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this costs a lot of money. I have to get my money's worth out of this. And this is going to be a ton of work. What am I doing? Like, that was my first thought. And then I watched the first video and I was like, oh my God, like I felt such relief because he's like, your customers are already right in front of you. You don't have to go find a million people. You don't have to like go create a whole new network. You don't have to go create a group and try to like, get people to come into your network. Like your customers that you currently have and your past customers, and anybody that's, going forward, like commenting on your posts and whatnot, like you have a great business right in front of you. You just have to tap into it better. And that just felt like so relieving to me. I'm like, okay, I just have to be better at like taking care of my people and seeing what their problems are. And like a lot of us who have been here for years, we could have double what our teams are right now had we been doing this like years ago, which is like crazy, but relieving. Like, I feel like, okay, I can do this. This isn't like rocket science and I don't have to go meet any new people. I mean, obviously we'll meet new people along the way, but I don't feel like I have to like go find a whole brand new team, if that makes sense. So,
right. You can spend more time on loving your people well and serving them well rather than like endless time going down the Instagram hole, like trying to like find all these strangers, like we can all just do a better job in our conversations and it feels so much more authentic. It really does. If you hate messaging people, you need to do it this way. It just feels so much better. Okay, we are over time, so I will cut it off, but we are going to keep sharing these things as we learn. So this was like phase 1. It all builds upon, all the things build upon this. So I want to encourage you guys to make that list. Alicia's going to share the scripting that she already has. And thank you guys for being on. Have a wonderful week.